They never trusted human food, not even a little bit. On the peaceful green planet of Veyra, the young alien cubs lived by very strict rules that their elders had taught them for many generations. The elders always warned them with the same serious words: human ways are strange and weak. Human tools cannot survive in the wild forests, and human food is the most dangerous thing of all. They said that if a cub ever ate human food, it would slowly steal away their natural strength, make their sharp senses dull, and turn them into weak creatures who could no longer run fast, jump high, or hunt properly in the deep woods. These young cubs were full of life and wild energy. Their fur was thick and soft, with beautiful shades of forest green and warm brown that helped them hide perfectly among the trees and leaves. Their claws were sharp and strong for climbing and catching prey. Their eyes shone bright with natural curiosity and spirit. From the moment the twin suns rose each morning until they set in the evening, the cubs trained hard. They raced through the thick forest paths, practiced powerful leaps from one branch to another, learned to track small animals using only their noses, and sharpened their teeth on tough roots and old bones. After every training session, they ate only the fresh meat they had hunted themselves or the sweet fruits and crisp leaves they gathered with their own paws. Anything prepared by human hands was strictly forbidden. Elena was the only human living on this faraway colony. She had traveled all the way from Earth to study the rich plant life and the gentle weather patterns of Veyra. She made her home in a small, simple shelter built right at the edge of the great forest, where the tall trees opened up into a quiet, sunny clearing. Elena was a soft-spoken woman. She moved with gentle steps and always spoke with kindness in her voice. She never shouted at anyone. She never tried to force the cubs to like her or accept her strange human ways. She simply lived her quiet, peaceful life, tending a small garden beside her shelter and cooking her meals outside whenever the weather felt nice. One beautiful, calm evening, as the twin suns slowly sank below the horizon and painted the entire sky in soft shades of orange, pink, and deep purple, Elena stepped out of her shelter. She carried her favorite metal cooking pan, some fresh vegetables she had grown in her own garden, and a few small packets of spices she had brought from her home planet, Earth. She gathered a handful of dry branches and built a small, gentle fire. The flames crackled softly as she started preparing her dinner, with steady and careful hands. She chopped the bright vegetables into even pieces. The knife made a calm, rhythmic chopping sound. She poured a little oil into the hot pan, and it began to sizzle and dance. Then she sprinkled in her special spices, a mix that carried gentle hints of garlic, fresh herbs, and a touch of sweetness that reminded her of home. Slowly, a rich, warm, and savory smell began to rise from the pan. This scent was completely new to the forests of Veyra. It drifted gently through the trees like a soft, invisible cloud, growing warmer, more inviting, and more comforting with every passing minute. High up in the thick branches of the tallest trees, 8 young alien cubs sat quietly, watching everything that was happening below. Their leader was Kiro, a strong, brave cub with a dark stripe running down his back and sharp golden eyes full of courage. Right beside him sat Mira, the smallest cub in the group, but also the smartest one, with soft white patches on her ears. There was Rel, who always seemed to be thinking about his next meal. Lyra, known as the fastest runner among them. And for other young cubs who looked up to Kiro and followed whatever he decided, Kiro narrowed his golden eyes and whispered in a careful voice, "That smell is wrong. Humans cook dangerous things. My father has told me many times that human food is like poison. It makes you slow and weak. We must stay far away and never go near it, no matter what." Myra pressed her small paws over her nose, but she could not stop her ears from twitching toward the delicious scent. My mother warned me the same thing. She said if we eat human food, we will lose our hunter spirit forever. We will become soft and helpless, just like the humans. The other cubs nodded their heads seriously. They tried hard to look brave and strong, but after training hard all day long, their stomachs were growling loudly with hunger. They had only found a few sour berries that afternoon, which was not nearly enough. The warm, savory smell kept growing stronger and stronger. It wrapped around them softly and made their mouths water. Their paws felt restless on the branches. They shifted uncomfortably and whispered nervously to one another. But none of them dared to climb down from their hiding spots. Elena continued her cooking with calm, steady movements. She stirred the vegetables slowly inside the pan. She added one more small pinch of spice and tasted a tiny bite from the edge of the spoon. A gentle, satisfied smile appeared on her face. She filled just one bowl for herself, sat down comfortably on a smooth, flat rock near the fire, and began to eat her meal in peaceful silence. Thin steam rose gently from her bowl and carried that wonderful, inviting smell even deeper into the quiet forest around her. The 8 cubs watched her every single movement without blinking once. Their eyes grew wider and wider with each passing second. Kiro's tail flicked back and forth with growing tension. Mira's small chest rose and fell faster than usual. Rel licked his lips again and again without realizing it. The warm smell was now everywhere around them in the trees. It felt as if the scent itself was gently calling their names. Still, they forced themselves to remain hidden high in the branches, quietly repeating the old warnings from their elders in their minds. Human food could never be trusted. It was forbidden. It would only bring weakness and harm. The evening slowly grew darker. The twin moons rose higher into the sky and bathed the entire clearing in soft, peaceful silver light. Elena kept eating her simple meal calmly. She looked completely relaxed and happy. Nothing bad was happening to her at all. She did not become sick. She did not look tired or weak. She simply enjoyed her dinner quietly under the beautiful colored sky. Then, without any warning, the moment that would change everything finally arrived. Kiro suddenly leaped down from the high branch. His paws landed softly on the grass below. His legs trembled a little, but the strong pull of the smell had become too powerful to resist any longer. In his front paws, he carefully carried his own empty wooden bowl, the special bowl he always used after a good hunt. He began walking slowly and carefully toward Elena and her small fire. One by one, the other cubs found their courage and followed him. Mira climbed down next, holding her little bowl tightly against her chest. Then came hungry Rel, fast Lyra, and finally the rest. All 8 cubs now stood together in a nervous but determined line, just a few steps away from Elena. Each one held their empty bowl in front of them. No one made a single sound. The only noise was the soft crackling of the fire and the quick, excited beating of their hearts. Elena looked up from her bowl. Her eyes widened with real surprise. She had seen the cubs watching her from a safe distance many times before, but they had never come this close. Never standing openly in a line, never while holding their bowls like this. She placed her spoon down gently on the rock beside her and spoke in a soft, kind voice. "You all look very hungry tonight. Do you want to try some of this food?" Kiro lowered his head and stared at the ground for a moment. His golden eyes showed both fear and complete honesty. His voice came out quiet but clear. "We have never trusted human food. Our elders taught us that it is poison that steals our strength and turns us into weak hunters. We have stayed far away from it for a very long time. But tonight, this smell will not leave our minds. Our stomachs are empty and hurting. We are tired of feeling afraid of something we have never even tried." Mira spoke up next, her small, gentle voice full of curiosity. "We always thought humans were strange and maybe dangerous. But you cook your meal alone every evening, and you always look so peaceful and happy. We want to know the real truth for ourselves tonight." Lena gave the cubs a warm and understanding smile. There was no pride or teasing on her face. She simply nodded once. "I only made enough food for myself this evening. But if you truly want to share it with me, I will happily divide it into small portions for all of you. There is no trick here. It is just simple, honest food that I prepared with care." She took her bowl and carefully split the warm meal into 8 fair shares. She placed a small equal amount into each cub's wooden bowl, making sure everyone received the same. The cubs stood completely still for a long moment, staring down at the food in front of them. Their noses twitched with excitement. Their paws trembled slightly with nervousness and hope. Kioo, as the leader took the first brave bite. He chewed very slowly and carefully at first. Suddenly his eyes opened wide with shock and surprise. He took a second bite, then a third. A soft, happy sound came from his throat, without him meaning to make it. Veyra tried her portion next. She let out a tiny, surprised gasp. It is so warm and gentle on the tongue, it does not burn at all. It feels comforting, like a soft hug from the inside. Rel ate his share, a little faster. His tail started to wag with pure joy. This tastes completely different from anything we have ever eaten in the forest. It is full of flavors I cannot even describe. One by one, every cub took their bites and ate. At first they ate in silence. The forest around them seemed to grow even quieter, as if the trees themselves were watching this special moment. When all the bowls were finally empty, a gentle and pleasant warmth had spread through every cub's body. They felt full, satisfied, calm, and strangely happy inside. No one felt sick. No one felt weaker than before. In fact, they all felt surprisingly good. When every bowl was clean and empty, Kiro looked up at Elena. New respect shone clearly in his golden eyes. His voice was serious and filled with wonder. We were wrong about human food all this time. We believed it had no real strength and would only harm us. But you prepared this meal with patience and real care. You shared it freely even though you had cooked it only for yourself. We judged you and your ways without ever knowing the truth. Tonight we have learned something very important, Veyra added softly, her small voice full of honest thought. We were taught to fear anything that is different from our own ways. But different does not always mean bad or dangerous. Your food did not take away our hunter spirit. Instead, it gave us a new feeling of comfort and warmth. We are truly sorry for staying away and judging you for so long. Elena listened quietly to their words and then replied with gentle honesty. On my home planet Earth, sitting together and sharing a meal is one of the simplest and nicest ways to show kindness and begin building friendship. I never wanted to force you or change who you are as proud young Veyran cubs. I only wanted to enjoy my own dinner in peace. But I am very glad that you found the courage inside yourselves to step forward and try something new tonight. The 8 cubs stayed gathered warmly around the small fire for a long, long time that night. They talked openly with Elena about their daily training routines, the difficult challenges they faced while exploring the deep forest, the fears they sometimes carried inside, and the old stories their elders had told them since they were very small. Elena listened to every word with patience and care. She also shared a few simple and interesting stories from her own life back on Earth. Tales about busy cities filled with lights, many different kinds of foods from places all around the world, and how beings from very different backgrounds can learn to live together in harmony and friendship. The twin moons hung high and bright in the dark sky, covering the whole clearing in calm, peaceful silver light. That one unexpected evening taught the young alien cubs one of the deepest and most meaningful lessons they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. They discovered that true respect is not only about being the strongest hunter, the fastest runner, or the best at following old rules without question. True respect grows quietly when you find the courage to open your mind to something that feels unfamiliar at first. It grows when you choose understanding and curiosity instead of fear and suspicion. It grows when you watch someone live their life with patience and kindness and decide to learn from their ways rather than turn away without ever trying. They also learned that food can be much more than just fuel to keep the body strong. A simple shared meal can quietly become a bridge that connects to very different worlds. One small act of kindness and sharing has the quiet power to melt away years of old fears and gently create space for real friendship to grow. They realize clearly that judging something or someone without ever experiencing it can keep you trapped in unnecessary worry, while stepping forward with an open heart can bring beautiful and surprising rewards you never expected. After that heartwarming night, life for the cubs slowly and wonderfully began to change. They continued their tough daily training to grow into strong and proud protectors of their planet Veyra. But from that evening onward, They also started visiting Elena's small shelter almost every single evening. They brought fresh fruits, fragrant herbs, and crunchy roots they found deep in the forest as thoughtful gifts. They asked her many curious questions about cooking and happily learned new simple human recipes together. Sometimes they even helped her water the garden or collect dry wood for the fire. The old fear that once kept them hidden high in the trees slowly turned into warm and genuine friendship. The deep suspicion they once felt melted away completely and was replaced by real, lasting respect. The young cubs kept this important lesson close in their hearts as they grew older and stronger. One day, when they became elders themselves and had cubs of their own, they would pass on the same beautiful wisdom, the lesson that true kindness and open understanding can connect even the most different beings across the vast universe, everything good and beautiful. That followed all started with one quiet evening, one small, crackling fire, one warm and inviting smell drifting gently through the trees, and 8 brave young cubs who finally found the courage inside themselves to step out of the shadows and try something new. One shared bowl of food did what long lectures and strict warnings could never do on their own. It gently opened hearts and built a strong bridge of respect that would last for many years to come between a lone human and the curious alien cubs of Veyra. If you enjoyed this heartwarming HFY sci-fi story about alien cubs learning true respect through human food and kindness, please hit the like button and subscribe to Neon Cub Tales for more fresh and uplifting tales. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.